The AI search gold rush is finally here. And right now, while you're watching this, advertisers all over the internet are paying tons of money for clicks from AI search engines. The education market is fetching as much as $298 per click. Home services, $250 per click or more. Software, over $200 a click. And the legal category, over $1,000 a click. But what does this have to do with you and making money online? Well, I gotta tell you, after doing this business for over 25 years, AI search is by far the biggest money-making opportunity I've ever seen. And in today's training, I'm gonna show you exactly how it works and how you can get your piece of the search engine marketing industry responsible for generating trillions of dollars in revenue. Yes, friends, this is going to create millionaires and even billionaires. In fact, just a few days ago, Mark Zuckerberg declared war on the entire advertising industry. And yes, he's investing heavily in AI search. More about that in just a minute. Because if we can understand that advertisers are paying crazy amounts of money just for simple clicks to their website, then I think you are in for the biggest aha moment when it comes to making money online. Let me explain. First of all, you have advertisers willing to pay as much as $1,000 a click for certain keywords. But why? Well, those advertisers know that those clicks drive sales. So if there's a lawyer paying $1,000 for one click, but he knows his class action lawsuit is going to make like $1 billion, yeah, to him, $1,000 is chump change. But to people like you and me behind the scenes, that can add up to a lot of money very fast. Now, it's important that you know, when we say an advertiser is paying $1,000 a click, that doesn't mean you're going to get $1,000 for generating one click. Of course not. What that tells us is there's a lot of money in the market. So if I know advertisers are spending a lot of money, I know that that traffic is very valuable. But that brings us to a more important question. What makes one keyword seemingly worthless and another keyword worth tons and tons of money? Well, friends, that all has to do with intent. If this person over here has no intent to buy anything and they're just looking up like, why did my shoelaces break? Yeah, they're not worth much money at all. But if this guy over here is looking for a certain type of loan to refinance his house, the intent there is pretty high that he's going to get a loan and some mortgage broker is going to make a ton of money. Does this make sense? If it does, let me know as a comment below and in the chat box. Because if you can understand intent, then you can understand what drives this multi-trillion-dollar economy. And you can understand how some companies are literally manufacturing intent to get more money from simple little ads on their website. More about that in just a minute. First, I need you to understand what's at stake here. Search ad revenue generates as much as $102 billion a year or more, and it's growing at an alarming rate. And some estimates are saying that the global AI search market is going to be worth around $50 billion this year alone. And since we know that companies like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft already have built-in advertisers paying tons of money, this whole world is about to explode. We're seeing Google, Microsoft, and even Amazon investing heavily in AI search. But why would Amazon invest in search? Aren't they just a product company, like an online version of Walmart? Well, that's what most people would think. Only, there's a lot hiding under the surface. And if you can understand how AI search works, how intent-based marketing works, and how we can get paid for clicks on our website, and how AI search is going to help us get paid more per click in a faster, easier way than ever before, well then, this is a training you're going to want to watch start to finish at least one time all the way through. Because you're going to get an aha moment that helps you understand how to make money online in a way you've never seen before. So if you're excited to learn how to take a simple TikTok video, a post on Facebook, or even someone looking at a simple web page with Mother's Day quotes, and turn that into cold hard cash, then you are in for a treat. I'm going to fire up the live set and walk you through everything live, right here, right now. Welcome to the AI Search Gold Rush. Come on, let's go to work. right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this AI search gold rush, what's going on with the new Chatgpt product search that basically just came out today, and how you guys can get involved and learn how to make money. This is super important stuff, so we want to make sure that we focus big time. Again, there's a lot of money at stake here, and a lot of people don't realize exactly what's going on. So I think if I can give you an overview of what's going on and show you how this works, I think you'll get a good idea of how to make money. There is literally billions and possibly trillions of dollars at stake here when we look at this as a whole. So let's go ahead and dive into what's going on, including some scary news, some notes we have, and everything like that. Because if you can understand where search is going, which I've been talking about here on the channel for the better part of like 3 years with AI, and search marketing since the dawn of time before that. So looking at this and understanding what's going on is key. Now, we talked about these cost per click amounts. We're going to talk about what those mean, how they factor into AI, and how you can get a piece of the action. This is all geared towards what you can do and how you can earn based on what's going on. Let me fix my camera real quick because it is a little bit on the dark side. And since this is not a Star Wars movie, we will actually make it a little bit brighter. If I can see where it comes up over here, we may or may not. There we go. Okay, let's see if we could get this thing working here and brighten it up a little. Where is our brightness image? And is that doing anything? Let's try the other one. There we go. That should be better. There we go. Now it's not so bad. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Again, we see that education is bringing $298 a click. Legal is over $1,000 a click, and on we go. What does this mean? This means advertisers are paying lots of money. Now, AI search is the next gold rush for online entrepreneurs. As we saw, Chatgpt came out with this image showing what search looks like. Now, we actually went through and did some searches in Chatgpt to see exactly how this works. Like, you could go to Chatgpt and you could search for best charcoal grills. You're going to see that it, or actually this is perplexity. Let's find the Chatgpt one. Here we go. In Chatgpt, you could see that you could search for the best charcoal grills. It'll actually come up with the charcoal grills, and it'll have links where you can buy them. Perplexity, same kind of thing, only Perplexity has something a little different where you can actually buy it through Perplexity. Now, Chatgpt is toying with this idea, which is interesting because when you think about the amount of product sales that companies like Google, Microsoft, and all these other companies bring to the table, it's astronomical. So this is a huge, huge market. We also see that Mark Zuckerberg is saying, hey, in the future, most of your friends are going to be AI. That's a little scary. I'm not really ready for that yet. How do you feel about it? Let me know as a comment below and in the chat box. Also, we see here that it has the Buy with Pro, which again is showing the search stuff going on there. We know that Google is a $100 billion a year business worth trillions of dollars, gigantic, gigantic business. Now, in Chatgpt, we could see that we can also search for things like mortgages and find out what's going on there, right? So we could see it is saying, here are local mortgage results related to you. Here are the links to find them. Much like how we search with Google, this is taking it a little bit of a step further. I think it's just kind of isolating the results and interpreting them rather than providing anything new. One of the things to really look at here is AI is really not adding anything new. It's just presenting it in a different way. And if you can think about that for a minute, that it's not really adding new, it's just doing something different with the data, then I think you could start to understand why it's valued so high and what we can do to get in on it. Now, we can also see that using Copilot from Microsoft Bing, we could see that they are now starting to have different search results as well. So AI is making this shift towards search. It's making a shift towards product-oriented, and it's making a shift, which I think is really, really, really important, that we saw with Mark Zuckerberg a couple days ago, where he said, hey, I am taking on the ad industry and I am upending it. What does this mean? This means AI, search, Facebook ads, all of this stuff is gravitating towards a market-centered approach, mainly monetization. Companies like Chatgpt, you might think, oh, well, you know, they get $20 a month, $200 from some people, that's how they make money. That's not how they make money. That's never how they planned on making money. That is just a service charge to people for using it. And at last I checked, that is not profitable for them. So they're hemorrhaging money. But, you know, you got to look at that and say, well, what is their long game? Their long game is to get into search. Why is this popular? Why is this important? Why should we care about it? And more importantly, how is it going to make you money? This is important. Now, before we dive in even more, we want to get the disclaimer out of the way, right? You're watching this video because you want to make money. You hear big numbers like $1,000 for a click. I mean, come on. What's going on here? Is this reality or is this something made up? And you're right to be skeptical. And I want you to realize that the vast majority of people watching make money videos, trying to make money online, they make zero. They make nothing. Some lose money. Most people don't get the concept. Most people don't do enough to make it work. This is a business. What I'm teaching you here is business principles. They're not to be taken as, after this video, I'm going to get Chatgpt for $20 a month and I'm going to be rich. Not at all. There's lots of people with Chatgpt who make nothing. We need to understand this like a business. If you understand this and you start to grasp the concept as a whole, where is search going? Why does search make money? If you're old enough like me, you probably remember the old days where, you know, you used to get this big yellow book on your doorstep every year. How many of you guys remember when the Yellow Pages was delivered to you? And you're like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I remember that. But where did it go? Why don't we get that anymore? We don't get that now because of Google. It's shifted to Google. All of that money is now going to Google, and they're making money in a much, much more robust way. So looking at this, I think this is important for us to go into, because if you can understand the Yellow Pages model, I think we'll start to understand a lot more. So when you had the Yellow Pages here, okay, Yellow Pages, here's our book. It was big. It had a lot of pages. If you guys remember it, let me know, okay? And what you would do when they were doing Yellow Pages, this is where I started learning marketing, they said that 80 to 90% of people using the Yellow Pages already knew the company. They were just looking up that company's phone number, because back before phones, our phone didn't remember them. So 80 to 90% already knew the business, which means their advertising was already effective, yet they were paying Yellow Pages basically to be the Rolodex. Okay, does this make sense? Are you following? Type Rolodex in the box if you're following. I think this is super important. I think you guys are about to have a really, really big aha moment, okay? So looking at this and understanding what's going on, okay? So they already knew. However, Yellow Pages charged a lot of money for an ad. You can have a listing, which was free, I believe, or you could have a 1-inch ad, which was like $1,000, or you could have a full-page ad, which was like a fortune. Yellow Pages made lots of money for years off of this model. Now, the difference was Yellow Pages didn't really have a tracking mechanism. So like if I got a phone call, I would ask the person, hey, where'd you hear about us? Oh, I heard about you from the sign on the corner or the Yellow Pages or this. So it was like base tracking. So you really couldn't check your ROI or return on investment. You just kind of had to eye it and guess it and hope it was working. Now, once the internet came in, Google was able to say, instead of people searching for Joe's motorcycle repair, now they're searching for, why does my motorcycle not start? It's geo-targeted to a specific area, and that mechanic can pay for that one thing, which means there's a lot more money. Again, as I mentioned earlier, intent equals money. If you have people who have an intent, and you know what that intent is, it's worth a lot of money. Now, sometimes you can manufacture intent by teaching people different things. Think about this for a minute. Let's say you go to Chatgpt. All right, I'm going to open up a Chatgpt over here, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works, okay? So if we go Chatgpt, and I start a simple chat with Chatgpt, right, there we go. We're going to say something like, what are the best let's do, why is my internet slow? Okay, we're going to do this real time so you can see this. Why is my internet slow? There are several reasons: weak Wi-Fi, network congestion, router modem issues, specific device issues, internet provider. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up side by side with SpyFu. SpyFu we showed earlier, which is a way to track what people are paying per click. And if you guys get this, like a lot of people are going to watch this, they're going to think it's over their head or they're going to get bored or whatever, and that's fine. This video is for people who are in it to win it, who really want to learn this stuff and tackle what is a $1 trillion industry, which is blown wide open because of AI. More about that in a minute. Right now, I want you to see this concept. So let's say like Auto Lawyer, you could see advertisers are paying $27 per click for this word, okay? Now, let's say internet slow or something. Why is my internet slow? Internet slow is fetching roughly $1.56 per click, okay? So that's a lower amount. I would venture to say, based on the ads, it's probably even lower than that. Now, as you go through, and I ask the question, the intent graduates. So like, hey, why is my internet slow? 2, is there fiber connection in my area? Now you're talking something different. Watch this. So now we have weak network congestion. So weak Wi-Fi signal. Watch what happens here. Wi-Fi extender. Knowing that a Wi-Fi extender solves that problem, which AI will show you, we're going to see this is going to jump up. 48, okay? It's a little bit different there. It went down a little, and I'm going to show you why. These are not perfect numbers, but what it is it's based on the number of ads. So intent, looking at that, if we can get people looking at internet slow or even banner ads on sites where they're doing internet speed tests or something like that, okay? Let's go even more. Router or modem issue. Router, internet, 6G. I think they have 6G now. I don't know. They got all kinds of G. But let's take a look at that. Router, internet. Let's try router, speed, or best. Let's do best router. Okay? Watch what happens here. As the intent graduates, okay, best router, best Wi-Fi router, okay? And you're going to see where the magic happens in just a minute. You're seeing here base level searches, whatever. Device specific. You got a low internet. Now let's do something specific that'll blow it out of the water. Okay? Let's do fiber internet near me. Now, $4.66. How about something like fastest internet near me? Okay, and near me, obviously they need that because some is available some places, some aren't. If you come up with a 0, that means it just doesn't have data. Doesn't mean it's not paying. It just means there's a different word going on. You can even do like internet near me or ISP near me or something like that. Let's do ISP, something like that. And what you'll see is it starts to graduate and it starts to change. So starting to understand this is absolutely key because this is where you're getting into the intent. Let's try another one and show you how it works. Let's say we wanted to go through and say, okay, let's think of something here. Behind on mortgage payments, what can I do? Okay, so let's do behind on mortgage payments. All right? So now you have an intent of like, most people would call this a non-buyer keyword. It's not worth anything, okay? But I know better because I've been doing this for a long time. It can be worth a lot. So we're seeing 410 here, behind on mortgage payments, and that's because it triggers the word mortgage, which, I mean, if you do like mortgage funny, it'll still have something because of that word mortgage. Now, if we go through, we could see forbearance, loan modification. Watch this. Let's try loan modification. Okay, they basically need the same thing. It's the graduating of the intent. We're going to get into how this works with search in just a minute. So now it's going up a little bit. Mortgage repayment, mortgage forbearance, all different kinds of things like that are very cool. All right, so now we're seeing this graduating intent idea, and if you can understand that, that is key. Now, looking at what's going on with Chatgpt and these other things going on, we're seeing, okay, they are now having products right here in search results, in the chat results. Okay, what does this mean? This means search is changing. If people adopt this, and I should say when people adopt this, we are going to see a difference here. Those who understand the intent that I just showed you is what is going to change the game, and those are the people that are going to make money. So looking at this, saying, yes, we see these in the ads, even with other ones you're going to see, like here with, I think this is Claude. You're seeing different results here. They haven't yet caught on to the paid ads, but we're going to show that in a minute. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure that everyone understands search equals money. If you understand, type understand, let me know. Because if you get this, now that's the first part of making money. This is where a lot of people fail when it comes to making money online, is they don't understand where the money is coming from. Right? This is why they're like, oh, I basically buy course after course after course. Nothing seems to work, and nothing is working because they don't understand where the money is going to come from. The first thing I do when I look at a supposed make money idea is I want to look at who pays me for what and how. Okay? So if I sign up for something and it's like, oh, hey, go promote our course, who pays me? They do. What am I promoting? Their course. So I buy a course to promote a course. Okay, yeah, that's more of a pyramid type thing than an actual business. Or I make a blog, I put ads on the blog, Google pays me for the ads, Chatgpt pays me for the ads. Now I'm understanding this. How many of you guys are getting this? Very important. Now, as we go further, I mentioned an idea of manufacturing intent, or the intent graduation. The higher the intent to do something, the more money you're going to get. If a guy is looking for a bolt on his barbecue grill, right? He's like the Weber 4400 bolt. I need this bolt or hinge or whatever. The intent is high to buy. He wants to buy that. That's why he's searching for it. If he's searching for something, and that's a cheap product, so it might not fetch a lot. If he's searching for something like a Traeger automatic whiz-bang grill that's $2,000, the amount's going to go up. If he's searching for something like mortgage forbearance, lower. If he's searching for something like refi, higher. Understanding this is key. This is money. We are basically monetizing what people are searching for, kind of like monetizing thought, if you will, because that's what's happening. With Google, you would express your thoughts. Oh, hey, why am I sad today? Why do I feel this? What's the best house to buy? All of these things you're sharing with Google. There was an old adage where people said Google knows more about people than their spouse, which is probably true. I don't know what data they keep, but they know a lot. We search a lot. With AI, this is entering a completely different realm. Right? This is a whole different ballgame. And if you understand it, this is where search is going to change it. Now, how many of you guys have seen ads like these? Okay, if you've seen these ads, type block ads or something like that. Okay? You see these ads, and oftentimes you'll see them on Facebook, you'll see them on MSN homepage, Yahoo homepage, all kinds of places like that. When we look at this, these ads are doing what we call manufacturing intent. Okay, this is a very, very important thing to look at. Manufacturing intent, what happens? Well, there's a guy on the MSN homepage. He's poking around looking at the latest news. All of a sudden, he comes across this steak franchise ad, and watch what happens. Okay, he's browsing. A guy on the MSN homepage, Yahoo homepage, or even Facebook is worth very, very little. I'm going to say $0.00 because they haven't done anything. You don't know their intent. When they click this, okay, what they do is they show interest. They're like, oh, franchises for $10,000. I'd like to start a business. Now watch what happens. We go back to our Spy Fu over here, and we're going to take a look. Where did our Spy Fu go? He was over here somewhere. We'll just open a new one. I feel like Kramer. Why don't you just tell me the movie you'd like to see? So we'll go here and we'll do Spy Fu. Spy Fu. And it looks like Netflix just announced that their homepage is now going to be created by AI. Interesting. Why would they do that? Again, someone browsing Netflix, worth very little. Someone watching a specific show, worth a lot. I want to show you this so that you understand it. If you look at this here, I think we had a chat I was doing about TV shows. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. What TV shows bring the most money? Because my thinking was, well, if someone's watching Shark Tank, Mad Money, Bloomberg Market, or Squawk Box, which are all about finance, I would think that would command a higher ad price per person, per viewer, than something else, right? Think about it. You can watch anything you want on TV, but if you're watching, let's say you watch the religious channel, I used to be a preacher, so sometimes I did watch that, there's not very many ads on that channel. Why? Because they rely on donations and things like that. So the ad rate would be very low. However, looking at something like Shark Tank, they might have 5 million viewers and they make way more than, say, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, where they have the same 5 million viewers. Okay, are you starting to understand? It's about the value of the market. It's about what you know about that market. The more you know, the more you understand, the more money you can make. And looking at this, with AI search, there's going to be a chance where we can make content for the AI search to make the money. There's also chances out here where you could start using this right now by understanding, okay, wait a minute. Now I can take these people to something else. So if I go to SpyFu over here like this, again, we were talking about, let's say, recipes. Okay, you got recipes. That'd be like someone watching the Guy Fieri show. All right, I like that show. He goes around and finds all kinds of food, gives me ideas to cook. It is a good show. He's a bit boisterous, but I like the food part, right? Looking at this, we could see 50 cents a click, which is probably less. Recipes is probably less than 10 cents. However, if we were to go through and say, let's do invest in stocks or something like this, now you're going to see, yeah, now we're at $7. If I did something like high yield investment account, now you're going to see banks are paying a lot of money. Okay, how many of you guys are getting this? You're like, wow, okay. So it's like the graduating intent. It's understanding what people want. And by having a simple ad like this one here on the homepage of MSN, where someone is literally worth nothing, and then I take them to buy a franchise, now you're going to see, boom, now it's starting to go higher. You could even do something like best franchise or a specific franchise or under $50,000. Again, the more you know about your market, the more money you're going to get. So understanding this is like, okay, now I get it. Now I get why these ads are there. And my job here is to teach you what you're not seeing behind the scenes of the internet. These ads make lots of money. Why? Because this one here is for some kind of download tool. This one here is for taxes, different things like that, right? That's why you look at that. If you want to learn what pays the most, sadly, watch daytime TV. During daytime TV, you have all the lawyers, you have all the, you need to invest in this now, whatever programs. They have things like, get a backup generator. All of this stuff you will see ties into big money markets. So now I want you to understand this, and I want to pause real quick to make sure you guys get it. Do you understand that search plus the right term equals big money markets? Now, before we go further, I want to make sure you understand this, and I'll make sure that you understand when we manufacture intent, we are talking about helping people. We are not talking about clickbait or anything funny like that. All we need to do is find someone with a struggle, walk them through it. Naturally, the more you learn about them, the deeper they go, the more they're going to do. This can be done on a web page. A lot of people don't get this. They set up a web page and they're like, oh, I got this web page about mortgage modification letters. And it has these letters that people can read and print out and get a loan modification. All right, and they're like, I got this blog. It doesn't make very much money. I have ads on the blog, whatever. It doesn't make it. Now, the reason it's not making money is because you're not taking them to the next logical thing. Who is? That ad is. If an advertiser is willing to pay for a spot on your site, he is making more money than you. Fact. It is a fact. Other than, like, there's a couple of exceptions, like Coke, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. They advertise everywhere. That's called brand advertising. What we're doing is called direct response. Again, think Yellow Pages. We track the call. We see where they're coming from. Clicks, they come from Google. That click resulted in this sign up, resulted in this money. Very, very important. Now, when we go through, I want to talk about where AI search is headed and what's happening. Here's a little matrix of the leading AI search platforms, and one that I think is kind of popping up that we need to pay attention to. Again, thinking about this and looking at the fact that they are having products in their content, and they're also adding appendages to the links, which means they want it to be tracked, because one day they're going to come by and say, did you know we're sending 1 million visitors a day over to these sites, and we want our check? Okay, that's what they're going to do, because what's going to happen is these clicks are going to result in money, sending people to Best Buy. And you can see it down here when I hover over the Best Buy one. See how down here, watch right down here. I think you guys, let me shrink it so you can see it. I think my banner's in the way. Let's see here. Right down here, when I hover over this Best Buy one, see how down here, are you guys seeing that? I think I do have to bring it up even more. There we go. We'll bring it way up, right? Watch right down here. What you're going to see is a UTM. See how it says UTM source Chatgpt? That is telling us, oh, hey, this came from Chatgpt. They want you to know that, because when they go to charge for ads, it's going to be very, very important. Ian says, am I getting it correct? Those links from Chatgpt paid ads? Not yet. Okay, we're getting there. Some may or may not be, but they don't have the infrastructure yet. I'm guessing one of these companies will probably do a partnership with like Google or Amazon or something like that, because these companies have huge ad networks already. So looking at this, we're seeing, yes, this is where the traffic is going to go. Now, Google Search AI has AI overviews, AI mode, Gemini, Lens, which is big. Having Google Lens, where you can circle something, hey, I like those shoes, it goes and finds them. Again, the intent is, I like those shoes, I want to go buy them, you're going to buy something. Now, what we see here is their monetization strategy is advertising. They are going to win if they do it right. However, Google is they're having a hard time because of the antitrust lawsuit. Like, that could be a big blow in the age of AI. The timing of that is bad. Now, those kind of things are good for people like us, because it's like, okay, when things change, things get scrambled, and that's where the money is. That's what I want you to get here, okay? User base, 1.5 billion monthly AI overview users. That means 1.5 billion people per month. And Ian says, oh, is this the reason ChatGPT wants to buy Chrome? Bingo. That's exactly why. And if you guys understand this, there's trillions of dollars that's going to get mixed up here. And sadly, it will gravitate to the top, right? AI will consolidate. One company will probably dominate them all, and it'll take forever for antitrust stuff to happen there. But in the meantime, there's going to be little pockets where you could get in and make money when you understand it. Okay, very important. Now, there's also long-term stuff, like Google is the behemoth. I've been making money with this stuff for 25 years, all right? Things that I thought were going to be detrimental, like in 2022, I was scared. I was like, okay, if AI does search, what's going to happen? Here we are 3 years later. It's actually been good for my business, very good for my business. So understanding these is key. This is about business. It's about understanding things. And there are simple ways to use this to make money. However, I want you to go through this whole training, because there's more than meets the eye, right? You might see some guy who's like, oh, I cloned this software and I'm making $1 million. Well, he didn't tell you that cloning stuff could be against the law, and he didn't tell you that before that he had to do all these other things. You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. So what I want to do is I want to give you an education on how this works, so that you know how to do this over and over and over again. All right, so key strengths, massive user base. Like Google could come out with an AI search. They can put their ads on it. They've already started. Boom, game over, they win. Key challenges is ad revenue, cannibalization risk, where it's like AI is creating its own AI content. Advertisers are advertising on their own content. It gets to be kind of messy. A lot of you guys have realized that search results today, like if you're searching for something today, it's an AI rendition of other AI renditions. Like it's like third-party AI, and it's getting crazy. I mean, you look here on YouTube, the amount of people coming out with make money online content has gone up 100 times. Why? Because there's a lot of people making money? No. Because AI made it easy. Nobody got to show their face. Nobody got to use their voice. There's no ethics police over there. There should be. But people are teaching anything and everything, which pushes good videos down to the bottom. And, you know, that's why I decided I'm not going to be sensationalized. I'm going to teach this stuff. If you guys want to learn it the real world way, this is how we do it. So if you appreciate that, smash the like button. Let me know as a comment, because it did end up being a pay cut for me making that decision. But at any rate, Microsoft Copilot, conversational AI, Bing, Edge, Windows, all of these, subscription-based, using different ads and things like that, 140 million, which these are pretty solid numbers. Like whenever I rank on Bing, I expect 1/10 of the traffic of Google. Why? Google's got 1.5 billion. They got 140 million. It's almost exactly 10%. Looking at this stuff, understanding numbers, even if you're not a numbers person, this is what's going to make you get ahead. I'm teaching you how to fish rather than, hey, here's a fish to be entertained by for 5 seconds and then I'm going to take it away, right? We want to teach you how to do this. Enterprise integration, Azure platform, OpenAI partnership. This is a big one. The fact that Microsoft, Bing, and Chatgpt are basically like BFFs, right? That's what we want to look at. They're out there, and they have the ability to have the ads in there and the sources. Now, what I would do is I would start looking at the different stuff. Take some screenshots. What happens when I search Google for best barbecue? What happens when I search Bing? What happens when I search this other one, Gemini? What happens here if I go to regular Gemini here and say best barbecue, best charcoal grill under 500? What happens here, right? If we can get insight into where they're pulling their results, then we can make our content for the results. This is key. This is what I did with SEO for years. I learned very early on how SEO worked, how to get ranked, and the money behind it, right? I learned real quick as a 20-year-old when I was making $30,000 a month with Google traffic and I didn't even have to do anything. I was like, wait a minute, there's something big here. And that's what we have to look at. And AI is bigger. Why? People spend more time with AI than they do searching on Google. People treat AI different than they do Google. When we go to Google and we look at paid ads, we know they're paid ads. Like if I see a paid ad and I don't want to buy anything, I'm going to click on the other results. So there's a different model here, whereas AI is more like a friend. Right? You're like, oh, hey, check this out. I want a barbecue. Hey, bro, you know, check this one out. It's not that salesy thing. Now, will it get that way? Probably. Like when marketers get a hold of this, yeah. I mean, that's just what happens. But we could see the difference in the grills here, and we can see where they're coming from, okay? Same kind of thing if we were to go look over here. Where are these results coming from? We can see the 26 sources that they came from, and I'll bet you if we were to Google this, it's probably pretty similar. Okay? Interesting, Matt says he uses Chatgpt way more than Google. Interesting. I would say I use them about the same, but I spend more time on Chatgpt. So if we were to look at this, we have, yeah, I mean, the results are almost identical. So we got New York Times, Reddit down here. We got Oklahoma. I don't know if there he is there. We got Serious Eats. That's Serious Eats up there. Home Depot. I mean, it's basically the same thing, right? So if we can understand where are they getting their results, how are they pulling it, and what are people going into deeper? What are they going in deeper? Because if I go through and think about it this way, this is manufacturing intent. This is helping people to get what they want, okay? So if I say, hey, here's people looking for best barbecue under $500, okay? Watch what happens. We go to our SpyFu. We'll take a look. SpyFu is telling us if someone goes to Google and searches best franchise, chances are they're paying about $4 a click, the advertiser, okay? Now, let's do best barbecue under 500. Now, you're going to have Home Depot and stuff like that, which is why it'll be a bigger number usually. Let's just do best barbecue grill like this, 89 cents. Okay, do I think it's really 89 cents? Probably not. It's probably closer to 30. That's just having done this 25 years, that's how I know that. Now, if we go through and we say, well, what are the graduating things? So, like if I go on Home Depot right now and I try to buy anything, you try to buy a pack of Skittles at Home Depot, and they're like, by the way, would you like to put this on your Home Depot credit card? And you're like, there's Skittles, which, I don't know, dude. The other day, I was in Target, and a pack of Skittles, luckily, because I didn't get them, I like Skittles, they were like $8. I was like, wait a minute, what world are we in where candy's $8? And it wasn't even that big of a pack. But at any rate, they're going to say Home Depot credit card, okay? So watch what happens. Now we got Best Barbecue Grill, Home Depot credit card. Watch this. Now we got, let's do rewards credit card. Rewards, because sometimes if there's not enough traffic, it'll kind of skew the results there. Rewards credit card, $8.13. How many of you guys see that? See, that's the difference. It's like same person browsing the same thing. They ultimately would want this. So literally by just having a link there that's like, hey, you're looking for a grill under 500. Did you know that getting a new credit card will give you a $200 credit, which will make the thing $300, or you can get an $800 grill for the same price, and then you can get other stuff too. How many of you guys are like, whoa, wait a minute. This is cool. This makes sense. Okay? That's what we're looking at. This is where AI, I mean, there's a dangerous side of AI where potentially, if it's turned into like a ruthless salesperson, which I'm sure someone will do that, it's not exactly ethical or good, but could it be programmed to get as much money out of every visitor as possible? It could be that way. These are changes we're seeing. Some good, some bad, some ethical, some not. There's a lot of ethical conundrums, like when did we ever give AI the rights to use all of our stuff? We didn't. But, you know, a person could do the same thing, so there's an argument there. But at any rate, looking at this, we have OpenAI, Chatgpt search, 400 million active users, 4.6 billion monthly visits. Now, thinking about that, 4.6 billion monthly visits, when you start to think about that, 4.6 billion, that's literally half the planet worth of people, okay? How many of these are searching for help with their mortgage, help with sink repairs, help with whatever? These all add up. A guy just going to, like, when you think about it, the ChatGPT blank page is worth nothing. This is why ChatGPT is not making money. You go here, it's literally worth nothing. Okay? Nothing. However, once I start a conversation, it changes stuff. And now we're like, oh, if I go through and I say, how can I refi without a credit check or whatever, right? Pick whatever you want to search for. Now I'm worth more. Does that make sense? It's a graduating of things like that. And now I can see like FHA Streamline, all of this other stuff. Now, looking at this, we also have Perplexity AI. Perplexity is one of the ones I think is going to be the first to monetize, big time, right? Now, Google technically is because they have monetization alongside the AI answers. However, I think Perplexity is going to be the first big player, either them or Amazon. Why? Amazon already has it in there, and they can monetize a lot of their traffic in a different way. Here's what we have to think. In the old days, when I first started marketing, there was something that marketers told me that I latched onto, unfortunately. And had I not snapped out of it, I would have lost out on millions of dollars. They said, you need a buyer market. You need a keyword that people want to buy stuff. You can't monetize how to tie a tie. That was a bet a friend of mine had. He was like, you can't monetize it. I found a way to make profit on it. Not much. I made like 20 bucks, but I won the bet. That was the key, right? And so having this buyer market mindset really really sinks a lot of people that want to make money online because they think, oh, you know, all of the good words are taken. How many of you guys think that SEO and all of this stuff is super saturated, so you can't get traffic and you can't make money? All the good stuff is taken. That's what people think, and they struggle, right? Everything's too competitive. However, my thinking is every market is a buyer. Why? Because everyone buys stuff. Like, even if the guy is not going to buy my barbecue grill, does he not have a mortgage? Does he not have a car? Are there not ways I can help him with other things? This is where you want to understand that, because when they come to Chatgpt or Perplexity or whatever, again, there are buyers using it. Just because they're not buying right now doesn't mean it's not monetizable. Very important. Perplexity is conversational answer engine. I find that it is a little bit different. Like, if I go through and I say, how can I refinance my home under 5%? It's going to answer that question. And maybe it'll go out there and find some places I can go and do that. It might also hallucinate and make stuff up, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to look at this. So refinancing under 5 is extremely difficult, but how do we do it? Wait for rates to drop, buy discount points, consider special programs, shorter loan terms. Okay, cool. There you go. Maybe there's people looking for different things like that, which is very, very, very important. Now, understanding, okay, this is where we're going. Another big player that we want to pay attention to is Baidu and DeepSeek. Okay, Baidu and DeepSeek are China search engines and AIs, and I find that DeepSeek thinks in a different way, which, if you're paying attention, and this can be used to our advantage. If you're paying attention, as I've talked about on other videos, DeepSeek AI understands emotions and sales. Others don't. Others don't get this. Understanding emotions and sales is the key to locating high-paying markets within low-paying keywords, right? Because this is all basic arbitrage. If I could buy traffic for 5 cents a click and flip them into something that makes me 25 cents a click, how many times a day would I do it? Or if I can generate free traffic all day, every day, flip them into things that make me money, then yeah, I will have a business, okay? So looking at this, we can use DeepSeek to reverse engineer whatever's going on, right? So I could be like, okay, why did someone think? And I'm going to show you the differences here between the two, okay? Let's say we'll start a new one in Perplexity, and we're going to say something like, someone is on my website from the keyword hardship letter. What ads or offers can I give them that will help them and make me money? Okay? So looking at this here, let's see what the differences come up with, because if you can understand the differences, that's going to be key. So I'll paste it in here. Perplexity has come up, hardship letter generator, credit counseling, good. Loan modification, legal. So this is pretty good. Perplexity kind of nailed it. Okay, let's see if there's any others we're not thinking of. High converting, mortgage help, foreclosure, DSCR loans. We actually talked about that in a recent video. Hardship refinance tools, credit repair. So similar, not as good, because what we're looking for is that one boom. And the boom would be credit counseling services. That's a good one. This missed it. Yeah, it didn't say the counseling. It did have credit repair and stuff like that, but I like that. Knowing what I know, that would work. Ronnie says, will this work for my website? Depends on what your website's about. I mean, this works for pretty much anything. If you understand, like if you have traffic, this will help you. So going through, looking at that, so far Perplexity kind of nailed it. Let's see if Gemini gets it. And then we'll go to DeepSeek over here. Okay, so DeepSeek came up, and it showed us the empathy and stuff. This is where the thinking is different, okay? And DeepSeek's free, so you can't beat that. So we have immediate assistance. That's good. See how it actually was like, here's the graduating intent. Hardship letter, is the immediate thing. Legal services, immediate. Document prep, immediate. That's pretty good. Let's do long-term, debt relief, consolidation, credit repair, financial counseling, government. This is pretty good. Niche-specific, foreclosure, job search, bankruptcy. Nice, bankruptcy attorney. And watch this, right? Watch what happens here when we look at this. And I had a student who ranked for all the hardship letter words. He was getting a lot of traffic. Hardship letter for mortgage. Let's see what we have here. $2.17. Let's do bankruptcy attorney. Watch the difference. $16. Are you starting to see it? Well, let me move me. There's the 16. Here's the 2. Okay, so here we got 217, and we got this one here at $16.31. If you start to understand that, it's like, oh, wait a minute. So basically, their intent changes based on the content of the website. Obviously, use this ethical, make it good. What you're doing is you're structuring your article to help them and finding things that's going to help in the way. So looking at that, now we're like, okay, good. DeepSeek nailed it 1,000%. I think theirs was really good. It even said ad platforms, AdSense, networks, Amazon, lead gen. Key considerations, empathy and trust, segmentation. I mean, now I could say, now write an article with a hardship letter template and use all these with the empathy to show them the other options. The other options is going to be how we monetize, right? We're like, okay, building this site around this stuff. It's like if you have a site that's about ways to save money, okay, that's good. But one of the ways to save money could be credit card, ergo that is an expensive thing, okay? So let's see how this does, and we'll check on the others as well. And understanding this is key, because this is how AI search is going to work. If you're understanding what I'm saying here, and how many of you guys are? You're like, oh, I'm starting to have an aha moment of like, wow, that's how people are going to use AI. They just don't know it yet. That's what AI is going to give them. That's where it's going to take them. That's how it's going to make money. There's going to be new algorithms that come out that are the monetization algorithms of AI conversations. If you guys are starting to get it, smash the like button. Like I said, this is the biggest thing I've seen in my 25 years of doing this. Again, we're going to have more notes and everything over at AIProfitScoop.com or downloadmynotes.com. Check those out. We'll have some more stuff there because this is a big topic. This is not the end of it. It's very important. As a beginner, I don't know how to interpret click per click. Pay-per-click? You mean pay-per-click? I think. But yeah, understanding this is basically what people are doing. Like if you go to Google and you search for mortgage refinance, the ads are people paying. The free results are people not paying. Amazon, and that's, again, a big one. Like if you're like right there and the guy above you is paying and you're not, now you have an asset that's worth money that that guy wants. That's the basics of the economy. Things people want. Understanding this is super, super key. Okay? Let's take a look at the other ones as well. So Ernie by Baidu Search with DeepSeek and stuff like that, we're seeing, yes, it understands in a different way. Okay? Very important. And when people come to me and they say, Marcus, what's your favorite AI? What's the one AI you use? I don't. I use a bunch. If you're a business person, you're going to use a bunch. It's not about one tool. It's about understanding marketing. That's the key. So now we have our compassionate letter, how to write a hardship letter, free template, resources to rebuild. You're not alone. Let's get through this together. If you're searching for a hardship letter, here's our template. Great. Then, tips for success. Need more help. Here are your next steps. This here, like I know there's all this stuff about sales and fancy writing and things to say. This phrase that DeepSeek just came out with is key. Why? It's basic. It's empathetic. It's to the point. Do you need more help? Do these next. Look at how it's recommending them. Okay, are you guys seeing the insight into how this is going to work? Think about this. Right now, there are people on Google, there are people on other search engines that are paying money for legal consultations for foreclosure. Watch this. We'll go to SpyFu. Foreclosure. Attorney, and I know I spelled that wrong. Let's have an E. Foreclosure, it's got an E in there. Watch this. So now we took a basic little search, $15 a click. I think about that for a minute. That's what these people are going through. It went through and it gave me the guide to turning my simple hardship letter tool into money. Does that make sense? Does everyone get this? Right? It gives you the recommendations. Tackle the root cause, debt relief, national debt relief. Okay, so debt settlement programs. Watch this. And again, looking at this, this does not guarantee you're going to get money. It doesn't guarantee anything. Nothing's guaranteed. If we look at this and we understand, okay, advertisers are paying this, therefore, it's a beefy money market. That's what we're looking at. That's all we know is that there's money in the market. This is our gauge. Again, we don't know what we're going to get. Oftentimes, it's a lot less. However, there are things you can do to get more. There are things that you can learn by and use to get better results. In fact, there's one that I'm running right now, and I'll give you a little overview of what I'm seeing. I do some ads in the web hosting market, and this is saying $13 a click. Actually, right now, I'm averaging like $7. Now, I'm selling something, so I could get zero. It could be nothing. If I was doing paid ads, I would probably expect around $1-ish from that. So again, take these with a grain of salt. It's just telling us that there is money in the market. That's all it says. Now, going through and looking at this, Google made $250 billion last year. What's going to happen when AI becomes the gatekeeper of search traffic? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're going to learn why this is disrupting and who it's for. The rise of AI search. What is changing? Search is shifting from keyword-based results to intent-based answers. Okay? Eventually, yeah, it might cut out the middleman. There might be one company that does all the search and they make all the money, much like Google is today, but in a different way. Okay? Victoria said, I've been watching your videos for years. This finally clicked. That's why we're being so thorough. If you guys are getting an aha moment, let me know when you have it. This is important. Now, tools, this part here is super important. Search is shifting from keyword-based results to intent-based answers. So instead of, hey, Google, give me some results or some links, now it's, hey, AI, solve the world problems or whatever, okay? So looking at that, tools like Chatgpt, Perplexity, Claude, and Google Gemini are replacing traditional search in millions of queries. AI answers don't show 10 blue links like Google. They choose the one best answer, sort of, right? Sort of. DeepSeek did not choose the best answer. It gave us help, okay? This is what I've been doing with websites for years. I make a website that helps people and has things that they can learn deeper that's going to make money. Very important, okay? That's changing. Why does this matter? Whoever owns or powers the AI that gets the answer, gets the click, lead, sale, or data. This is the trillion-dollar economy. Whoever gets that, imagine if the AI is like, hey, I only like Bob the plumber. I'm going to send everyone to Bob the plumber. Bob the plumber is going to have to hire all the other plumbers, and he's going to be the only one. Because this kind of stuff drives so much business, it's not even funny. If you understand that, it's actually not that difficult. It's just about understanding how to get in front of the right people. That's all it's about. Moving over from SEO to AI SEO, which is AI-based SEO, where it's answering that question rather than just links, okay? Big players that are investing money, pay attention. If you see money going somewhere, that means that's where the money's going to end up. Rich people invest in things that make them more rich. That's what they do. Right? That's what billionaires do sometimes. Some do weird stuff. But at any rate, looking at this and saying Microsoft Bing investing heavily, billions of dollars. Google, heavily investing in Gemini, search generative experience. Notice how many different changes Google has made to their AI in the last 3 years. There's been a lot. We had, what was the first one? Google Bard, and then it switched over. And now it's going from generative, and then they changed the generative. What are they doing? They're testing the market. That's what's happening in real time. I'll never forget years ago, I was at a conference, and there was this guy talking about SEO, and he's like, hey, if you want to know what Google wants, Google something. They'll show you the 10 links that are on the top of Google. That's what they want. Why? Because they're there. So understanding that is key. And if you watch what these companies do, you're going to see what they want. You're going to see where the money is at. Amazon, they're doing Rufus in e-commerce, right? Like, think about the world people want. Okay, it's a little scary. Zuckerberg just said he wants a world where we all have goggles on and our friends are AI. Okay, that creeps the bejeebers out of me, but that's what he wants. And he'll probably in some way, shape, or form get it and make it. What does Amazon want? Amazon wants it basically to where you don't even have to go to Amazon. Remember the buttons they made where you would go to your laundry thing and push a button and it'd order more laundry detergent? It wants to not have a button. He wants to just be like, I know he doesn't have laundry detergent because whatever, I own the laundry detergent holder mechanism or whatever. Where it's going is kind of like a scary realm. But if we can follow the money and we can do things in a good way, maybe even helping people navigate that world, then we can make money. Facebook Meta AI-powered search for ads. We're seeing a lot of changes here. Now, let's talk about the money at stake. This is where we're getting into everything. And hopefully you guys appreciate going through all this stuff methodically, because if you didn't have the aha moments you had so far, you're not going to get what I'm about to share. So if you got them, good. If you didn't, watch this again. Now, when we're looking at the pay-per-click rates, looking at Google Ads, again, these are just base. Legal services, is the keyword legal services going to make $1,000 a click? No. Are there some words where people are paying a lot? Yes. Education, software, home services. All this is saying a lot of money, tons of money. Why would someone pay $1,000 a click? Well, we're going to get to that. If you are the AI answer, you can bypass this and earn money. Okay, so like if you had a tool, let's say you made an AI tool and you were able to monetize that AI tool, or in the future, AI tools will probably share monetization, much like YouTube shares monetization. Google shared it with AdSense and different things like that, right? One of the smartest things Google ever did that basically took them from what they were in '03 to what they are now, amongst other things, was the adoption of the AdSense platform. Okay, this is important because if you understand this, Google was there. They had a search engine. People would search and then they'd click on the ads, but 90% of the people were not clicking on the ads. So they're like, 90% of our efforts are not making any money. Well, what are those people doing? Well, they're going to websites. So 90% of the people went to websites. The websites didn't make as much money as they could from the majority of the terms. AdSense came in and said, why don't you put our ads on your website and we'll give you a cut. Now you're making money on the 90% you were losing. These are business lessons that you have to understand to get it. Okay? Very important. This is what makes us make good business decisions. Now, going through and looking at this, there are different terms that pay a lot of money. Mortgages, I had a website that was primarily driven with paid ads. It was in the mortgage market, made a lot of money with it. I think it was, well, I think our best day with that site was like 1,700. Again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. That was on paid traffic, so it wasn't all profit. The vast majority of people trying to make money make nothing. Now, when we look at this, there are billions of dollars up for grabs in affiliate commissions. Right? What happens if the AI now recommends affiliate products? What happens if you own that? Right now, we have a student who created a custom GPT, just like we taught. Right? You can see that video on AIProfitscoop.com. He created a custom GPT. He's now making money with affiliate marketing embedded in his custom GPT. I don't even think he has a website. I think he's just linking them straight from there. And so the AI is essentially making him affiliate commissions. All he did is set it up one time. Okay, very cool. And he's making money with it. Lead generation. Can the AI generate leads? Yeah. If I had an AI like this DeepSeek talk here, I could say, hey, by the way, email this person, fill out this form, call this number, whatever it is I want for help, okay? Ad monetization, tool and API licensing, email capture, retargeting. All of these are what is going to work. Again, I will have notes. If you guys like my content, AIProfitScoop.com, we got a course there, we got free stuff there, we got some paid stuff there. Check it out. I think you'll like it as your resource to make money with AI. I've been in this world day in and day out for the last 3 years. It's all I've done, and I found lots of ways to make this work. And some of them are working really well for my students. All of them work pretty good for me. Now, looking at this, when we look at the business models that will profit from AI search, AI-powered niche sites. Niche marketing is changing. We saw a shakeup with Google. We did a video on the 16 companies that run the Google search results. We did videos on how AI is taking over Google search, how there was a bunch of junk, how they're cleaning it up, different things like that. AI-powered niche sites are going to win. AI-powered AI niche sites are also going to win. Very, very important, okay? Next up, we're gonna go through and look at AI prompt optimized tools. Can you make something that helps people? What if I made a little tool that generates hardship letters? Okay, so I could literally go to Chatgpt right now. I could create a tool, obviously, be ethical, be good, make it helpful. Let's make, you just go to custom GPTs. I think it's in here, you just go here, and then you go to like custom GPTs or something like that. Yeah, create a GPT, and then I say, let's create a GPT. Let me shrink this down so you can see it. GPT mortgage hardship letter writer tool or something like that, right? And it would help them with that and everything like that. Having that there, you would get built-in traffic and you can lead them to things that work. The guy who created the one, I think he has 100,000 users, and it was all traffic that ChatGPT gave him, right? This is stuff that people can do. You just have to think about it in a different way. Far too many people are just trying to get AI to spit out money, and it's like, okay, yeah, I know every guru is saying that right now, but that's not the fact. It's all about thinking differently. Just like how we said, okay, someone looking at a blank ChatGPT page is worth nothing. When they go deeper into something else, now they're worth more. It's about the conversation. Years ago, when I got out of rehab, I did something interesting, and I actually made a video about it. I think it's on the channel. I know it's on AI Profit Scoop. I think it's still here. But I got out of rehab. I'm going to be 11 years sober this month, so big milestone there. That was pretty cool. But when I got out of rehab, I asked myself the question. I said, based on my search history, so I went into my search history on my computer, could you have predicted that I would need to go to rehab? And the answer was yes. The answer was yes. How many people are going to be asking ChatGPT things like that? Like, oh, hey, how do I quit this? How do I stop this? How do I do this? What does that do? Watch what it does. Pay close attention. This is big. When we go over to SpyFu, and I do something like, let's say, rehab or whatever, okay? These leads pay a fortune. Let's do something like that. Well, there's other ones. I'd have to look them up. But again, I don't know what it's going to come up with, so it's not exactly the best to look that up. But I've seen in the neighborhood of like $800 for a phone call, like $50 to $100 for a click. It's crazy. And knowing that, thinking about that one thing, like, okay, could search history predict different things people would have? Yeah, that's the base of graduated intent. Now, again, we're using this in an ethical way just to think about what people would want. Like, what's the next thing? Okay, my mortgage rate is too high. I can't afford this anymore. Whatever. right? What is the next logical thing? We're doing this in a way where our page is providing answers. We're not doing anything funny. We're not getting any data. We're just making a good thing like we did with the DeepSeek over here, where it's like, hey, here's the next things to do, right? Very simple. And once we understand that, it's absolutely key, and it works really, really well. And understanding, okay, affiliate and AI search strategy, how are we going to get ranked? Another way to make money with this is looking at people are going to need rankings again. You might have a guy who's a plumber in the local area. He's getting a bunch of rankings. AI comes in. Now he ain't got the rankings. He's going to pay to make it work, right? He's going to pay to get that. Also, providing the best answers. Chat widget, expert on demand. We're going to see this rise a lot, where instead of going to like, you know, those help sites where you talk to the doctor or you talk to the plumber or whatever, now you're going to see this with AI. Search content, email marketing, stuff like that. How to get started. Identify keywords AI is targeting. Okay, think about what AI does best for. A lot of people freaked out when AI came on the scene and they did AI results, much like featured snippets. Okay, the keywords that was for was a different thing, right? It wasn't super, super important. It was more or less words like, you know, tie a tie or whatever. Very simple stuff, like answer kind of things. Like, what are the steps to this? How do I clean an oven? Things like that, more or less. And it didn't shake things up like most people thought. It was actually pretty basic. Looking at building a tool or structure answered pages. Can we do answer pages? What can we learn from this? Well, there's a lot of money with advertisers. How do I get in front of them? If I make a website, a resource, a tool, like we talked about in yesterday's video, can I make something that people will use that will pay me money? Yeah, I can. Like if I made a tool, like the other day, I was talking to one of our workers here, and she found a website that found assumable loans. This is a niche we're going to talk about in an up-and-coming video. And it's like, okay, that guy literally made a tool to find assumable loans for people who didn't want to get their own or whatever, and he's getting a lot of traffic in a tight-knit market. He doesn't even need search traffic anymore because people know the site, they use the site, you're good to go. Right? Super, super simple, super easy. You just go through and you look at it and you're like, okay, bada bing, bada boom, there you go. Okay? Very cool. So starting to understand this is key. Monitor if your content's being cited in answers, add monetization, affiliates, emails, opt-ins, ads, different things like that. Rinse and scale across multiple niches. Now, another thing we want to look at is reverse search. Look at where AdSense is going to be more prevalent. Why? Google's going to want to make up the lion's share of the traffic. If they do lose some, how are they going to do that? Tackling websites and things like that. Also going through advertiser scramble. You're going to have a lot of advertisers scrambling around, trying to get traffic, trying to get their rankings and everything like that. Super, super important, super easy, okay? Not too hard to get into. Also, SEO scramble, people trying to get their rankings back. Local SEO panic. A lot of local companies are going to want their rankings back. Niche search tools, websites, finder pages, and directories are all going to be more prevalent. Case studies and examples, looking at a site with like a mortgage calculator with AI answers. Can we make that tool to get featured in AI? Going through, making that work, big time. A niche tool that gets listed in Reddit or Perplexity or something like that. Looking at where the AI is drawing the answers from is absolutely key. Example of like maybe a best website for internet or something like that. How does it get quoted in AI responses? How does it work? Looking at all these things is absolutely key in understanding where it's going to go. Looking at how AI responds and how we can do better. Because I think right now, yeah, we can do better. Also looking at how products are showing up. How do these products show up? Why? If 100,000 people a day or a month are asking for the best drip coffee maker, do you think having yours in the top picks would sell? 1,000 times yes. Understanding this is big. Now, going through and looking at how to get in the database, we're going to have some more info there as well. This site's got a pretty good reasoning from it. Looking at those expensive keywords and understanding how they work. looking how to track searches, also going through here and looking at the shopping features that Chatgpt is adding. Super key, right? This is getting in a way where the AI is literally going to start recommending products, much like what Amazon's trying to do. If we get ahead of this curve and we start to understand why do people search the way they search, why do they think the way they think, and what do they ultimately want? Because, I mean, let's face it, most people are lazy. They just want the answer. Most people don't want it. That's why most people left this video early, because they don't want the aha moment. They just want an answer. They want, do this, that, and this, and you'll get rich overnight or whatever. Obviously, we know that's not true, but that's what people search for. We want to go through and do the work. And if you're willing to do the work, I'm showing you what to do here. This is a once-in-a-decade shift. Probably, this is at least since I started. This has been the biggest thing since I started, for sure, and I've been doing this 25 years. And so starting to look at that, and actually 26, I started in 99. But starting to look at this and understand what's going on is key. What's happening now, there will be people who strategically position themselves and make a lot of money. And I don't even, like someone said that they want the free answer. I don't even think they just want the free answer. They just want an answer. It's basically, I want to feel better and not do better. This is the big crux of human motivation, right? People want to feel better, but not be better. And being better is learning, going out there. What I do is I look at how can I increase the value between my ears in this up-and-coming shift. Because if I can do that, then no one can take that from me if I learn it. Like what I learned 25 years ago about SEO and marketing and what I've learned along the way, that's stuff that, you drop me off in the internet, I'll be able to make a living. Starting to understand that that's what we want here. Like, can you do something quick and make a little bit of money? I don't know, maybe. But are you going to learn the lesson of now I can go and build a business and have the freedom that I want and live the way I want, where I want, and keep building and growing? Super key. There we go, it zoomed in on us for whatever reason. But starting to understand that is absolutely key. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to be a great writer. You just need to be strategic. That's why here on this channel, I know it annoys some people, I don't teach a lot of, here's how to use this tool. Like I don't have a 5-hour dissertation on Canva. Luckily, one of our workers here made one for you. I don't teach the ins and outs of WordPress. Luckily, our WordPress designer did that for you. Why? Because that's not what makes money. Being an expert in WordPress just means you're an expert in WordPress. That's all it means. Knowing marketing means you can make money. Understanding business means you can run a business. A lot of people are focusing on the tool, what the tool does, learning the ins and outs of the tool. I don't care how good you are with Chatgpt. You can get it to make the most great things. But if you don't know how to put those to work in a business, you're just going to have a bunch of great things that are not monetizable. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the monetization first. That's why I'm very heavy on concepts and ideas and niches and markets and monetization rather than, oh, here's another tool. Let me show you a 5-hour video on how to make a Pinterest pin and 2 seconds on how to get traffic to it. We want to teach the strategy, the traffic, because if you can't figure out how to make a Pinterest pin, like I think you need to reevaluate starting a business. Those are things that are easy. Those are things that anyone can figure out. What we want is the stuff that's about the money, about the business. Where is search going? How do we show up in the search? How do we help businesses? How do we charge them? How do we make this stuff work? That's where the nitty-gritty is. And I think that far too long people have been just looking at the tools as if they are the answer, and they're not. Tools aren't the answer. If it was, then everyone with Chatgpt would be rich. Chatgpt ain't even rich, right? They're losing money. And so how do we look at this like a business? How do we look at this as, how am I going to have this tool get me the end result? It's like having a car, right? If I don't know where I want to go, having a car is useless. Well, Marcus, if you had a Lamborghini, okay, well now I can get nowhere faster because I don't know where I'm going. We need to know where we are going, and we need to know where these tools fit in. And when we look at search, we can see where search is going. Where is it going? AI-powered niche sites. Those are going to be big. Different traffic methods. It's going to be a lot more social media traffic. Thinking about this, what if I made a social media channel that was about solutions for people that struggle financially? Right? Like, oh, hey, if you're behind on this, here's some solutions. If you're doing this, here's some solutions. That site will trigger big ads if you have the helpful stuff there. Like you could, okay, let's put a credit repair ad or whatever. Obviously be ethical, obviously fit what they need, but understanding it's not just about building an audience. Like a lot of people here, I've been watching the trend where people are like, oh, hey, make Bible videos and make history videos. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But I look at the results. Those ones, like you get 1 million views, you make $30. And I go, okay, yeah, getting 1 million views is hard. I don't want to make $30. I want to make a living. So what am I going to do? I'm going to strategically get the audience I want. It's not about all views. That's a vanity number. A lot of people look at, oh, you know, that guy's got 1 million views. Okay, but what's he making? Right? This goes back to the beginning of what we're talking about here. One person looking at a web page could be worth nothing. If you get them interested in a franchise, now they're worth like $30 to some advertisers. Just a click, just a view. How do we look at that and get the right audience? That's what we want to do. If you focus on the right audience, you don't need that much traffic to make money. I know people that get way, way, way low numbers in terms of traffic, but they make a lot of money. Now, if you want the resource list, keyword list, I have a list of the top paying keywords, all kinds of cool stuff over at AIProfitScoop.com. We got all that for you, and we'll talk to you about where search is going. Remember, this is a business. Be ethical, be good. Don't expect anything overnight. Most people make nothing, but I think if you understand, oh, wait a minute, traffic is worth money to someone, if I can figure out who that is, and I can get that traffic, then there we go. And a lot of people here think that traffic is the hard part. It's not. It's not the hard part. You can go buy as much traffic as you want tomorrow. Go buy it. Why don't you buy it? Because you don't know how to monetize it. Monetizing is a challenging part. Learn that, and you'll be good to go. Someone says, search for a way to produce electricity in hot weather for cooler air conditioner. Yeah, you could do like how to save money on air conditioner or something like that. There's a lot of things you can do. And there's a lot of things people search for. The sky is literally the limit if you just think differently. Forget about what you want. Think about what old Zig Ziglar said. I can have anything in life I want if I help enough other people get what they want. What if I help enough other people save money? Well, then I can have a lot of money. We saw the people who made the coupon app that got sold to PayPal for $4 billion. Helped a bunch of people find coupons. It's literally what he did. Now, he did some other controversial stuff, but the coupon part was kind of cool. And if we start to understand, like, I don't need that many. I don't have to make $4 billion. What do I need to do to make $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year? What's it going to look like? Well, $100,000 a year is roughly $300 a day, or $274 if you want to be accurate. What am I going to do to get my $274? I mean, we live in a world where there are people who make like a lot, right? They make millions a day. Is there not $274 that I could get if I think strategically and I think about how can I help enough people that would equal $274 for me? Well, now your job gets a little bit easier. And when you start to understand it, that's where everything meets the road, or the rubber meets the road. So check out AIProfitScoop.com. Check it out. Got a lot of good stuff. Check out the videos in the description. If you like this, smash the like button, and we'll see you.